Okay, so we're back in the recording world. Recording the market. Same stuff, different day. So the markets are going to be closed on Wednesday. But there was a good trade here, falling out of bed in Sunday. Now this is a particular trade, which would have you had a size system that started at 100K down. Like I said in the last video, what's your risk per day? What's your reward per day? If you're risking 100 a day, I got it, right? 100 a day. That works. 200 a day for people with a little bit more. But the idea is you're committing to the risk. So if you burn $100 a day trading, that might just be commissions. You know, if you're shooting for $700, it might cost you $200. The question, is it repeatable? Can you repeat the same trades over and over again? So, sure, if you have a real good feel for momentum. So when you hear these guys talk about, come and take our course for $1,000 and we'll teach you about higher highs and higher lows, I think you got to learn that. You got to learn that on your own. Like, I think you just got to discover something that is, dare I say, a mechanical trading system where you don't need half a brain. I must say that's a huge problem. So, if you got half a brain, what do you do with the other half? So this is where you get bored and you do trades that... So if you're trading a demo, and that's another reason why you trade the demo. So I had to get rid of dim rim. I didn't know you could delete people's comments and ban them from the comments. So it's the first time I've had to do that. So it must be popular. That's how you know you're popular. You end up with psycho assholes without half a brain making comments like, that's your comment? Fuck you, dickhead. Like, that's... You're a genius. So what I'm talking about here is like, yeah, these are... I'm going to cherry pick all the trades in here. It's called low volatility breakout trading. So you pick a pip range, say, I'll go for 33 pips, right? In how much time though? I'll give it all week. So if you're going to go 30 pips deep, roughly 30 pips deep, let's not be too precise. And this is what it would look like. So if you had a pending, weekly pending, so I've been experimenting with weekly pendings. Now, it is amazing the results that you get from risking having the pendings last all week. And I had the robot, so I was able to get the robot to do one thing, so it's a really big breakthrough. I got the robot to launch when I tell it to launch. So it launches without regard to volatility, which is not a good thing because I'm missing the ultimate filter. So it's basically like wide open, playing right into a recording device on 100%. And trusting that the person that's playing into it isn't clipping the shit out of it, making smoke come out of the chip. So, but, Jesus. Anyways, it doesn't matter where you live. You know, your neighbors are just fucking nuts. If you have pendings below here all week to buy, so you could have seen this is your first bounce house and this is your cloud. These are your orders into the future, just like cloud trading. Got 30 bars, right. And you can take this and we can move that along right from low to low, and we can even make the argument that we're getting approximately the same low point, right? You could say, look at how this is like a cycle. You're like, look, yeah, it's pretty close. Look, it's top become the bottom, and the yeah. I can make all sorts. Like here, okay, you want to play Garley, of course. But seriously, how big are you trading on that shit? So if I drag this straight up without letting it get off of its cycle, straight up like this. Yeah. It's right on the bar. Turns right on that bar. See, is that magical? Or is that random? Now, if I started putting buy limits at this shelf, so after this huge come to Jesus moment for the currency, so it's just vacuum to vacuum. It's a pretty simple story. The question is, are you the guy getting in down here to go short or to go long? Here was a great vacuum retrace right here today. So far this week. So this could be today, and it could be. So you see the same thing on the daily. Gonna backfill. Gonna stop hunt that fractal. Gonna trap the Williams robot. But Williams robot's right here. But does it matter to the guy that trades mechanically? No. The mechanical bots stacked up and made a pant load here because they got in heavy because it's super narrow. So the more narrow, the more heavy you can get in the euro. Certainly the spread's tight, and that's why this is tight. So you got a nice tight window. All right, so you get about 20 pips in 4 hours, and then here's the failure swing breakout. So if you have the equal amount of sell stops and buy stops, but you start stacking it more, trailing sell stops here because it's just what the robot's doing, right? It's not something you want to do. Like, this is about as boring as trading would ever get in your life. Is you just keep moving your entry here, sell, 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 and as soon as we get up to here where we get this beautiful, it's a spectacular curve. People talk about 3 waves. I'd say 2 price pulses is max. There's I love you, there's wave 4, and then maybe you get married again. So there's 1, 2, 3. 3 wave. Keep it simple. Trade wave 3 or wave C of anything that is out there. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 should be crashing into vacuum somewhere. It's a classic setup. It goes on and on, over and over, but it goes in different ranges of volatility. So it's the same pattern, but different dynamics to the pip. And this dynamic range, if you can do it, if you can create 5 levels of resolution to your entry, you know, you don't just have like your guitar cranked to 100% all the time, and you're just completely. I guess like that's metal, right? Metal's balls to the wall, gain, don't let up. It's kind of like cage wrestling, UFC on guitar. And granted, you could have been the guy that bought this, and you're laughing all the way to the bank when it gets to here, presupposing you have a stop here. So everybody doesn't understand, and this is why people would never agree on trading, don't forget. Even if Jim Rim could trade, he'd realize that, yeah, there's a guy that bought this whole pocket. He bought this pocket. He actually, what he said was, fuck him. I'm buying everything from here to here, and he's disappointed he only got filled on X, okay? So, are you this guy? Are you the guy that bought here? And this is when anger trading pays off, in my opinion. Every 4 hours this drops, I'm like, oh yeah. So on the clock I'm buying. Here I'm buying. I'm like, fuck these idiots. Can't they see it's fucking on going on sale? Yeah, for like 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. 16 hours. Low volatility. Here comes the money management stops who stacked up sufficiently. This is not a conspiratorial move. This is just Mother Nature filling the void. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say the market's been... I guess that's one thing I must say for Akil Stokes said, yeah, market manipulation. Don't be retarded. Question is, did you have a buy limit here and I never filled you? And you're like, those motherfuckers. So you had to overpay like a goober and get in here. So this is when your volatility bot saves your ass. You think you're going to be able to plan all this shit out? It kills me when these guys are, yeah, dude, it's coming down here and it's good. In your wet dream? Come on, don't be ridiculous. And then you got this Rimba guy. Jesus Christ, man. What a nightmare just to have a thought. So yeah, after I'm done scalping, or after I'm done with like this move here, now this presupposes that you came in here and kept trailing a sell, and I'd probably be the guy that's buying this. I'm a huge contrarian, so I'd have sells here. I would have sold into Friday. Sell stops are stacking up. Right here we have a low volatility window. Even here is when the robots actually come in late because they get a small bar and they're like, yeah, we're on that. No fills here, but we fill here on stops. Pure goober bot. Basically a goober bot, which is a stop bot. Shitty prices. The trailing stop that people would run is here, you know, and so if you're short here, you only made this much money if you have a stop and reverse system, and now you're getting a little bit chopped again. So if you're not buying down here on limits and here on limits, then you must think that it's going to go down lower, right? Why buy here if you can buy lower? So you'd have to ask yourself, whose trade am I trading? Am I trading the setup into another guy's trade? And this is where it gets dicey, right? Because there's only one way to trade, so you think, but that's for you. There's only one way to trade based on, can you get to your platform? Do you feel confident to lay limits in willy-nilly? So I have been testing this thing, and it's about testing the trade plan, really. It's testing the script over time. And the nice thing about it at this point, I guess, is that it's purely random in time launch. I could probably set it so that it's, since it's stacking up so many orders, I could set it so that it's, I guess I'd have to run it on like 4 currency pairs on one account to balance out the pip range. So and of course the spread too. If you write the script with a tight enough spread, those orders will not, the broker won't take them, which is a good thing. So when the broker stops you out of taking a trade, in the old days it used to piss me off. They'd have a requote and I'm like, can't you see this is the price? And it was kind of nice when they would lock you out with a requote, because it slowed you down a little bit to think. And that's probably why I made a lot of money trading with a shitty broker, is because I love pulling the trigger. So especially in forex, when it's not costing you anything and you're trading 1Ks and you could just have 3Ks, you have fun, and they would lock you out, and I thought, oh, that's probably a good thing, keep me from over trading, you know. Now the pending thing, if you stack too many in there, it could be a problem. So I'm always trading demo because I trade like Franken-trader. I don't think it's worth playing guitar the way everybody plays it, or trading the way everybody says you should with just one single ticket. I think it's better to have a set it and forget it plan for the week, where you know, at least I know, that I would love to have this price for a bounce into the floor here, because I already know the floor exists. So this guy was accusing me of hindsight. Well, there's not. You don't have a choice. This is support. Should we crash into this thing? This is the logical exit. Is the last known floor. So this could happen really quickly, or it could just keep going to hell and never look back. So you'd have this scenario trade planned out. And on top of that, you've layered out the fact that, well, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you got trailing buy stops maybe now. Coming to Asia. You definitely want to buy the closing price here, which is the 50. You know, you should be able to see 50%. If somebody said, if you ask a kid, what do you think halfway down the chart is? He said, well, we're in the middle of the chart now, and this would be halfway above, halfway down. Is there, can I say there's a Fibonacci here? Sure, if I go to the right time frame and grab the right fractals off of this thing and scrunch the chart down just right. Scrunch it down just right. There you go. I think the apex of this, scene of the crime, where the goobers got in, goober trap, goober reclaims, goober makes a pant load, doesn't quite get his vacuum fill. We have to wait for one more gust of wind to come in up into the trap. So in context. And we just sheared this bottom off. This was supposed to be the bottom that became a top. When the plunge guys got in, of course this is a top that became a bottom but overshot, you could say. But in essence, to me, it's more about this thing. This is the cause for this effect in my mind. This has little to do with it. Because the people that went short here, well, the hedge funds that went short here, I guess they are buying back here. People that trade without stops maybe is causing this top bottom. I guess for me, I can't look out any more than this data. And I made more money trading on my phone because I could just see these simple waves and stuff. This is going to kill a place to buy. I'd buy just like a madman here. Just set it and forget it, man. Don't even give a fuck. I laid it in all week long, actually, based on my robot, which is telling me, yeah, if you let these stack up, especially when this is going nuts, so every 4 hours it's dropping in order, and it's correspondingly putting the same algorithm, the same risk rhythm in there. And it's this Bigfoot, I call it. It was my original thing. Instead of an iceberg, Bigfoot. And so it martingales in, right? But there's enough money in the account, and woven into here are your take profits. Right, so as this thing retraces off this level, it's cashing out. This one's cashing out, cashing out. There's at least 4 scalp banks in there. Then you've got other tickets, long-term ones, but you're counting on a huge battle down here. If we ever get down here, it's going to be psychodrama supreme. This has got to come down here, take a dip in the well, and then just go fucking nuts. And you've got these scalps that have been there all week. And I think, and this is going to take some time, take a 10K, do the math, find out the real down risk of ruin on that script, what it's going to do to the account. Now, if the orders only last an hour, and I've been experimenting with that too, so the cool thing about having a completely random launch robot is that it proves that random makes money given the right appropriate stop to the volatility that's currently going on. There's no sense in walking into, and this is I think the reason most people, 90% of people lose at trading, is that the market's too dynamic. I mean, it's just said it a million times, but if you think about like your stereo system or your clock radio, Asian session is as loud as it can go, but there's times when everybody within 10 miles goes deaf because the signal gets so hot in your radio. So if you could think about the market being like that, this is why I think it's impossible for people to say, for them to accept the sizing differential that they'll have to go through to go from a swing trader to a scalper. This is like, I suppose you could scalp one case, right? This is not like, you're not going to get killed and you're not going to win $1 million. But if you can't make money with a 1K, then you shouldn't be trading 100K as logic. If you can't make 10 pips with a trade, then increasing the size isn't going to help you if you're lagging in at 10Ks and pull the trigger 10 times. I mean, I don't know what these people are doing. This rim job guy, fucking, I never had to dig through the, I actually had to write into YouTube, how do you turn off some motherfucker? So I'm sure he'll come back. But I'll be able to tell it's him because, and the password is dickhead. So if the guy says dickhead, I'll know it's him. So another thing is, now that I have the script tester and I can switch time frames, how often does it launch the script? And I haven't experimented with the adding a breakout to it. So right now it's pure limits above and below. I'm up to about a 7K above, 7K below, and I can switch the time factor, and I can adjust it to bad ratios, but there's a sweet spot in it. I've actually put orders 300 pips deep on this, so it's going in 300 pips deep. And if that's going to stack up all week long in a highly volatile market, and actually it runs great on the 1 minute chart because it's taking the 1 minute volatility, which is landing in some awkward position every minute. I mean, in other words, it's a 1 minute chart, but at the top of the hour, this thing is going to, based on the 1 minute chart, do something. I haven't changed. There's one more parameter, but I can't change it until I'm running it on 2 different brokers. And it looks like the one broker has less tick data maybe, but it's pretty close. The equity curve is similar, but the dollar amount's a little different in the end, even though I've told it to give it a fixed pip because of discrepancy between brokers. So I can see that now running it simultaneously. And I wouldn't spend any time on this shit, but I happen to have able to run the script I wrote and just literally test a trade plan for the first time. So I can see what would that look like. And then when I chose monthly time frame, which means these pendings are stacking up, and at that point the ratios have to get way better, I think, because you're running so many tickets now. So as you hit the throttle in your car, you know you're going to lose. Once you get to a certain point, you lose torque. So you have torque down in the low value, and you know, everything has a engagement point. So you don't want to let your clutch out with too big RPM. There's a perfect amount. The same thing in trading. If you're going to scalp out of the gate, scalp this first burst, now we come in with pendings, because I would say that's the ultimate trading, is if you're going to literally trade live and dance with the market. Now you don't have to, you can lay pendings and walk away. Now that's a whole different mindset, and it might make more money in the end if you're really kind of forcing a trade because you see an opportunity. Or you're just pulling the trigger because, you know, you made so much money you want to experiment with something. So I don't think you can't live without experimenting. Of course, this is why people would go from trading book to trading book looking for the ultimate system. There's only one way to trade. You know, to me, it's about how much effort you would put into that trade. If I'm going to sit there and dial in some Gartley with a fucking Hakanashi and a cloud, and a what else? A Rainco with a little touch of Hearst cycles, and about a smidgen of Elliott wave. I'm probably going to risk big on that and be like, dude, did my homework on this. Let's just get in big. Put a wide fucking stop on it. Call me in the morning. No. There's a big difference between the guy that says, let's just paint the whole house and the lawn, and we'll just cut the lawn out later. Right? The wrong sizing. So who would do that? Now, it's a cringeworthy event to watch somebody trade with one position at this point. And the whole time, it's like painting, why do they do 5 coats of paint? Because one, it would crack. Duh. I don't think it's any different in trading. I mean, if you supposedly are so good at trading that you can determine the next maybe 20 days, I don't know what these people are saying. This depth of market, dude, it does not forecast the exit of that trade. I mean, you could be getting out for a scalp. You could be getting out in 3 months and go, like, I'm a fucking genius. Look at that. I survived 1,000 pips swing and I made 3,000 pips. I just kept adding to the account. You're going to be, this is like a rags to riches story. Just kept adding to a loser. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Like this fucking idiot that's doing this MML. He's like, yeah, you know what? This guy, SEAL Team 6 guy, I think he's going to get raped by the dollar, potentially. And crude oil, I don't know, man. It's stepping into the vacuum. But, whoa, stock market's scary looking. I so wouldn't want to be... Yeah, if you're going to buy in dips, I wait for nice wheels come off. Really... You could say that the market's responding psychologically to the situation by saying that the Dow Jones is up. It's in glory, wave 3. Now here comes the consolidation. Rap music's done. Trust me. Dude, rap's over finally. A little bit of rap. We came over the Starbucks PA system, but there's if anybody goes to Starbucks and has that fucking Spotify shit they want me to sign up for just so I can get the cut. There's a jazz thing on there with a guy playing sax, and it's just amazing. So that's amazing. The rest of it sucks. It all sucks. And trading's not like people would think. This is the most unglamorous thing you could ever do in your life. Trust and believe. But yeah, these are my trade plans. So you have to get a feel for this stuff. I think, and I recommend printing out the charts and drawing on it like this. And of course, if I'm long, I want this shit to go beyond here so I can start cashing out and then trade it back in. Right, scalp a few. Swing a few. I'm sure some guy has some ridiculous dream that it's going to go there and then come all the way back to here. But these things take time. This was amazing. This was a trap for the stop bot on the way up, but the Goober bot saved the day here. Because based on there's more bots in that are triggered right there. So here's the trigger point for the bots. If you imagine, and the worst bot here, but the worst bot makes money here. See, and when I say worst, I mean the highest risk Goober trade in the world is put a sell stop here, put a buy stop here in case the restaurant. And oh, looky there, we made money. See, Goobers win. Goobers' lives matter, people. And you can make fun all day long and say, well, but can't you see this is Elliott wave? And of course, with this, we could count either the line or we could count the, that is the other thing, the line. So I did a lot of line charts, and, you can get burnt out on the kick drum, let's just say. That's what that really is to me, is the kick drum of the music of the piece of momentum that's going on. It's true momentum is price over time. So these wicks could have happened at any moment. So it's very distorted. It's pretty much like tick bar charts in a way. Pretty lousy for the price pulse. I get to make it black here. Gotta edit. We've got a skinny line, unfortunately, but here you would, so you would not buy this rally here, but the stop bot would. The market bot bought here and he's up. So you have to have a different color for market orders. You could have the script inside there. I pick black for my market orders. So you're forced to go with some of the colors are hard coded into the library inside of the thing. But red is typically sell and blue is buy. And I try to make the scripts like that. Black is at the market. And stop, I kept that red stop, blue stop. Now I could make a different color for stop. And you could tell somebody that. But see, the problem is when you start naming this stuff, a part of my mind does say, what if I have to explain this to somebody? And the other part of my mind says, well, if only I understand it, it's fine. But then I forget what I wrote, and then I say, well, maybe I have to keep track even for myself what I adjusted. So when you're experimenting, this is for people that like to experiment. You're going to have to do a lot of different versions of it. But you should be able to, and I dare I say, backtest mechanical trading volatility breakout systems. Here you have a trailing sell stop, and since you can't see the bar, we can still see the envelope though, which is great, right? There's pressure building up here, and we can't tell how many bars. It's the only problem with this line chart is I can't tell how many hours that went down. So another thing is if you switch to the bar, you can count the frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's plenty here. You don't need to get out the Ranco and the Garleys. To me, it's just like my brain explode. Besides, it's so arbitrary. It's like you just coming in with a really cool lick in the middle of somebody else's song going, yeah, dude, that's really from a hit song. Right? Dude, it's out of context. It's so retarded that you would get a 618 tool out and try to force them. Well, but it works. Okay, dude, that entry is fucking 3 days from now. What if you die tomorrow? That's the impatient consideration. What if you die tomorrow? Let's make some money right now. And here maybe there was no trade for any bot because this is too big of a bar. This is the only qualifier is this one. And so the Goobers got it right here. And the Goobers got it right here. And the Goobers got it right there. Right? If they here they kind of got trapped. We can see those people trading buy stop, they're trapped. And they don't put a sell stop here. Too risky. Sell stop here, too risky. Maybe here. Maybe there's a guy that... Now this is the 4 hour. Like I said, if you break open, and I haven't done it yet, I guess I should do it. MT5. A demo. Now I'm going to put real money in that account too. So this is another thing is that if you trade as much as I do, or if you experiment as much as I do, if you think you have an idea, you're not going to run it with real money. Okay? Or if you want to just see it visually before you put real money on the trade. You're going to put MT5 and dick around with that, or maybe find another platform, maybe NinjaTrader. You know, it's just anything that forces me to log in every time it launches. The nice thing about MT4, once you've logged in, you just double click it opens, boom, you're in. I hate to say that's a good reason to use it, but that is the ultimate. It's plug and play. You know, it's ready to go. It is on deck, ready to go at all times. So I love the mechanical thing. Of course, this is what we read in the trade books. But I think the daunting task in that case is that this is when mechanical trading is recommended because it makes money. Even though psychologically it's a burden because you get stopped out. You do get hammered out. You have to trade more than one ticket because you're going to get hammered out. So you have to spread your risk. I'll trade one position and this looks good and that I'm just going to get a willy-nilly. Yeah, okay, but you got to keep your trading frequency low or you blow the fucking thing up in size low. If you're not really, I mean, that you can make so much money in like 3 seconds or 3 hours, but the 3-second trade is going to be like, maybe you're only making half a pip. Could you make 25 pips in 3 seconds? Sure, when the news comes out, right? Yeah, when the news comes out. But that's like, you can't get rich quick, so people don't want to trade like that, right? There are the conflicted approaches to the trading. So, what's your approach? Are you getting in at the market? Are you confirmation? You wait till it pulls back. You see the first wave. You have some discipline to get in the next wave, pull back. What if that pullback isn't a pullback? I mean, if I'm really bullish, I'm like, nice pullback, get in here. Oh, geez, that's more than a pullback. So, even if you lagged into it, you bought like 0.001% of the market and had pennies beneath you, and you're like, yeah, I like this trade, I'll buy a little bit, and it looks like they're going to fucking smash the hell out of it tonight. And you're prepared for that scenario, or you see it spiking up and you're going to sell into it. So, for me, it's easier to buy the bounce because it's like stock trading. So I'm familiar with stocks. And like I said in the other video, I think I went on about the bid and ask thing. It's funny that Roomba guy never said anything about anything I said in the video. It's kind of funny because I was hoping he'd say something like, everything you're saying could never happen price-wise with the instruments you're talking about. But the funny thing with him, he never named one instrument. Not one instrument. It was like a guy talking about music without telling me what he was playing. So that was fascinating. But I guess this is what makes horse races and makes places get shot up. We're going to shoot. The guy just got like got hangry. He didn't get his... So if a lot of robots got into this before the plunge, right? This is when the risk managers and people that aren't going to stick around for this shit get auto-filled, or they're out, or they're in. Trapped here, you have multiple tickets, you have exits here, exit. So you could grid exit this thing, keep scaling out, adding to the shorts here on this little baby vac. So the baby vac is the place, there's a little bit of pressure building up from the clothesline situation. It's different trading though. Like here you're selling, buy, sell, buy. And here's when it plunges in your limits, but you're also buying at the market. So we turn on the candles for the, now everybody's familiar with candles, but look how the candle gets chopped by the line. So that kind of bothered me about candles. The body gets chopped. I guess I'm a perfectionist, so I look at that and I'm like, I don't know if I like that. This thing peeking outside of the, right, that to me is disturbing. Because if I'm going to draw on candles, trend lines, I'm going to draw it off of that, right? If a robot was to misinterpret, or your trend line is going to look like this. And this is the assumed trend. Big price pulse up. Here is the spinning top. You could bracket this. Also, the filter is that if it's a doji bot, it only takes these. So you can see the doji bot trades. We should be able to see everybody's system. Here's the guy that trades breakout of high, like small body entry guy. That sounds bad. The guy only has sex with small women. I think that's what they call it. He's in his spinners. A spinning top. There you go. So, spin bot and it has a filter. It only trades small bodies. Maybe it ignored it, or maybe it got trapped. Maybe you got a little bit trapped here, but it doesn't trade very often. Very select. And it's also the 4-hour chart, so the broker's giving you this entry based on his closing. And look at this one. There's a trap. Then we have the vacuum traders. They're selling up here. With pendings, they're getting filled. They've already placed these orders in advance. So the banks are putting orders too. So you're prepared to sell this whole zone. No fill until this. Everybody's in on this. The breakout bots, and here comes the money management, low risk, the goober entry. So there's the goober entry. Here is kind of the goober entry because it's waiting for criteria that is so fucking stupid. Small body, and you can see the small body. How small of a body though? And then we have the so we have the vacuum, we have the volatility, and then there is the clock entry. The guy that trades at the market, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and buy again. Now, depending on the stops on these by the markets, and like I said, if it's down big at the market, you buy big. Okay, so we've got 3 styles of trading I'm talking about, and they're all 3 are mechanical. Market's down really big in 4 hours, you buy with a wider stop, and you buy a little bit more. You actually risk more. But a portion of that is you have a soft stop on the thing. In other words, you buy at the market, but you have a 15 to 100 pip stop. Inside of that script, it's a 10K, but on the last few tickets, on the bottom tickets, you're buying really deep. And I mean, you have a tight stop and a deep stop, but you're buying a 10K at the market. And the same thing on the other side. You've got the same. Maybe it's completely right around break-even ratios. And then you have another button you press that is just going to pull the trigger on a 1K. So you'd have to figure out, well, how many times you want to pull the trigger? Going to get a shotgun? Or are you going to go for the pea shooter and just death of 1,000 cuts? Or are you going to buy limits? You might as well buy on 15-minute limits, because are you going to sit there and keep pulling the trigger every 15 minutes? I mean, I guess if you're a disciplined trader, right? I mean, if you got 4 hours to blow watching the market and going, yeah, it's down 15 minutes, down real hard, buy hard, or buy with a wide stop. Same amount, 1K, but now you're going to buy with a wider stop. You're risking more because you know, wow, this thing could really go nuts. Or maybe you're buying a 2K, and one has a tight stop, one has a slightly wider stop. But you're going to have to figure out, maybe you have a button that just has a tight stop, a 10. But if you're going to put a 10 pip stop on, you're probably going to wait till it's done tanking. Because if it's down hard in 15, it's probably got a follow through on it. But when I'm talking about mechanical trading, I'm talking about there is no doubt what you should be doing right now. If it's down 48 pips in 4 hours, you should buy with a wide. You should buy and risk something if you are looking at that being an unsustainable move. Now, if you had traded like that when the Swiss franc was depegged, and you bought a 1K with a 100 pip stop, and they blew you out of that, which I've had that happen with real and fake money, you're like, okay, I see how that is now. Okay, so it's like that, huh? And then you buy again and they shear it off. You're like, well, I guess I need 1,000 pip stop. And at some point, you know, you just, hopefully there's enough money in the account. You could have maybe survived that. I wonder what the survival rate was. If you had 10 grand in there, you're trading at 1K at a time. Is there some goober out there that was a risk manager and put in a 1K and route out the Swiss franc plunge? And he's like, we've probably been cover of like Forex Weekly. This guy, look at this guy. He put $1 million in the account. He got in a 1K. Went against him. He didn't even know what was going on. By the time he figured out, yeah, just millionaire heard Forex was the place to be. Wanted to see if he could move the market. So trading's pretty boring, I must say. Real heartbreaker. But yeah, you could just, like here, you buy, you sell. You sell. You buy, you buy, you buy, you buy. You stop buying, you buy. And like I said, this trade became a winner. You could claim this as a winner in SEAL Team 6 speak, and it came up into the vacuum. And everybody went the other way. It's a rope-a-dope situation. And so this is why you would go to the half hour if you're bored and see how you would get whipsawed if you built the same robot for the 4-hour chart. So time frame matters. Some guys say it doesn't, but for mechanical system robots, it does matter. It's going to get its ass kicked here. So what I was using the half hour and 1 minute chart for was order placement. So when it tumbles, it's throwing in limits that look like this. Based on, so it's just like a cloud. It's like cloud trading, and since the market's vibrating up and down, it's creating a cloud above and below of some area that you could claim later on. Look at it went into the cloud. Cloud trading works. Shut up, man. I could also say bottoms become tops matters. You know, this is 1 day of trading, and here we can see the obvious trade for the stop bots. You know, the goober bots here start getting filled. They get filled. They're short. Their moving averages are down. They're running a 13 period moving average. Everything's golden. Right. Trailing sell stop. Goober entry here. Trading with a trend, sell stop. So selling new lows on a stop. Not there is a guy buying them. There's a guy buying, causing this bounce, or there's a satisfaction vacuum fill here, and then there's the vacuum forming above, and if you go to the 15, on and on and on. So it's very active trading on the 15. You got to really have your wits about you. So here it's very active. I wouldn't even consider. I would say the 1 hour is, you have plenty of trouble on the 1 hour. A lot less trades, but like here's your doji trade on the 1 hour. Blam, blam. Right, two doji bot fills. And I say that for certainty because if you can't build a doji bot, I mean, if a guy couldn't build me a thing that says, well, I'm going to get in when I see small bodies, and I'm going to put a hedge on, and I can't lay in about 20K on both sides, then it's pointless, right? Look at this. Triple, a 3-hour trigger, and then calamity. But not for the exits that are here, and if you can imagine them being up above here. Right? Here's a trigger entry for the 1 hour doji bot. These don't qualify. You may call those the dojis. There's one here. There's not. That ain't no doji, brother. Homie, that ain't no doji. This was a doji. And those non-directional money-making trades. They could be directional, but you're better off actually putting on a hedge, because look how there's no fill on the buy side, or there's no stop out from the sell side. and you can write those scripts. So, and you can probably test that too. I'm going to try that also. Right now I'm in Limitville, and this takes hours and hours of just letting it go. So I was running dual bots yesterday. Had one on JAFX and one on Trader's Way data, and they're crunching. But what's fascinating is how long does the order last, and what is the true risk? I say true risk, I mean risk of ruin of this each script. How often does it launch? And how long does it last? So the critical thing is, how often do you pull the trigger, and how often do you place pendings, which are ultimately potential risk in advance. Risk to be, possible risk to be. And what actually I wrote the script to be symmetrical, so there's the same amount of sell limits as buy limits. I'm trading it from both directions. So maybe it's over trading. I could turn off one leg inside of, I think you can turn off one leg in the properties of Expert Advisor so that it says, oh, I'm just going to trade one direction. So I'm going to test that later. And so right now I'm just chatting about the market. It's quiet. We're coming into Asia. We're going to have to take a look at the let's take a look at this. It's an entry. Take a look at this is where the sell limits start up in here. I would just put my first ones right at the obvious top. Yeah, it's going to be quiet. And I guess tomorrow we could make it down here. So, you know, I guess it's all about feelings. How would you feel about placing orders here to buy and orders here to sell? And, you know, my system would be laying those in randomly, the way it is right now. And I don't know if it does any good to sample this size and throw orders out in advance there. You know, if the orders only last for 30 minutes, you could start them at any level. And I say in the end, it's going to come down to risk. If you are going to have it get in at the market here, I think that's what you'd have to have. You're either going to have a robot that identifies a small body and small range. So here come the stop bots that are going to take higher risk too. They're going to, the big goobers and little goobers, like, so a market goober just says, oh, put me on a hedge with tight stop here and a tight stop here, and let me just get stopped out and make my money and get out of here. Now a clever, I guess this is where discretion comes in, a person that has a view of trend, so to speak, or next obvious move, is going to sell here and sell here and sell here and get trapped there, but that you're following your system. You sell every small body in a downtrend, and you don't know unless you're aware of this trap, right? In a 1 hour chart, you can set your traps in like this. On a weekly chart, you're waiting all week to get the fuck down here. So which trade are you going to do? Well, the one that you wait, and this is a 4 hour chart, and you waited all that time for it to backfill into here, and you still got pendings, don't forget, on the top of this carried forward. So I would be buying that fractal, that fake out, whatever you call it. I'd buy here and I'd buy here, and I'd hopefully buy here, but I have enough money to buy to here that hole. And we've got this situation. The bears trailing protection stops are stacking up. There's huge buy pressure and there's huge amount of buy of bear security here, and then whoosh. So you can look at this as pressure building up, or you can look at this as the money management system just getting auto-triggered here. And so they're not running it, they're not trying to trick you into the trade. This is just a crowd of people pushing back and forth for 3 hours, and we break up the log jam, right? And then everybody's aware of this, everybody's aware of that. Well, when I say everybody, the prices on the chart, and you don't need level 2, level 3 and all that stuff, all this uncharted water left behind. If it's a chart, I'd say it's uncharted water. This was the, see, here's where the counter trend guy made a little bit of money, but this is on a 1 hour chart. All this pressure on this side's building up. So it's like that parabolic SAR. Actually, what I would do is I would have it so that, well, you don't really need it. I think you can see this is going higher. The idea that you have to have colors on that might be, but I did go with the white up candles and down black. And we have the triangle. Traders are in on this breakout. They're looking for their vacuum to fill. The counter trend guys sell into that for the kickback scalps. Kind of get a sloppy top bottom here. The failure to retest here. The bears think they can pull it all the way back to here and make it a reversal day, but one more push. Drift into Asia. Tumble in. So Sunday we fall out of bed. The 4 hour guys were involved in this 4 hour breakout. You just can't overcomplicate this stuff. But people will do that. You know, they want to see all sorts of 618 shit. It's very sexy. I thought it was a sexy. I saw Gartley's on, was like, dude, I got to get me one of those. And look at the doji. Now this would take patience that I don't have, but if you're up for it, you're waiting for a daily doji. That'd be my signal service. Well, we got a retarded entry here, kids. We got how many trades this month? And this one made a pant load. Actually, got 3 dojis in a row here, and then we got a reversal. Another entry. Right there. There's a killer entry. I'd even say this one. How many pips on that body? See, this is, made this here. And then the buy at the market guys are getting clobbered, so you get very careful. This was the vacuum we started filling. And I guess there was a little dead cat bounce here. You bought, you had to take profits. You bought. Only profits you could make. Here you may not buy. Well, here you're buying on limits. Here you make it quite a bit back into this. And market. Buy. Huge here. It's down huge. So you bought really heavy here, and you bought really heavy here. And this is probably why you're seeing a reversal here, because if it's down big, the big boys are buying it. Like, in other words, how do you know the big boys are in the trade? So this guy was like, well, you see the big boys, but yeah, I got it. It's like down like hard like this, all this. Huge makes new lows. Yeah, this is a huge pivot, right? Because the big boys are like, holy shit, we're hedge funds. They're probably out here. Right, this is a huge reaction here, and then here's the doji. So this is wave 2 or wave B. And then bam. But the whole time that's melting down, you still got this monster vac here, and that's a decent reaction. Here's this vac. And this one. This fill. Now we've got a triangle forming. And the question is, do we keep tumbling? And I think we could just keep tumbling. Or do we come up and start filling this? Either one's possible. So it's all possible. It doesn't matter if you're on the if you're on the 30-minute chart, you may have already traded today, and you just frankly don't care. In fact, you're probably long, anticipating a break of these to take profits, and you're probably thinking like, well, let's sell tonight. Let's sell. Probably going to go north, and if we don't, let's buy. You could be out of the market now, waiting to get filled. You have a buy limit here, one here, one here. You're going to sell limit here, here, here. And you're just waiting. And maybe you got 15-minute buy limit, 30, 1 hour, 15-minute, half hour, 1 hour, 4 hour sell limit, 4 hour sell limit. You start thinking in distribution. Don't repeat any tickets. Or you can't take advantage of your broker unless you trade pure 1Ks. Abuse him. So you may complain about your broker, but you're the one that chose to trade with him. So you have to know how to torture the broker without having to shut down your account. And here is the weekly, dare I say, in context. And not to mention the Dow Jones is in trouble. And the Bitcoin has recovered from the double bounce. So this was amazing. This was that new lows. It made historical lows here in this window. And then we retested that. That's just a classic retest. Another triangle. Here was the trap trade. Right, you sell the new highs. And that's too much data on the screen, actually. So I would just take this to the daily. So in essence, you bought a retest of 4 days ago. Because you had this was Friday, right? Or no, was this Friday? So we're off to the races. Melted down. Now we're ripping back. But this is dangerous territory here. This is as much zoom as I can get. Bitcoin. Wow. How could people even... And then some guy said, you got to use a logarithmic chart. Oh, that's going to help. I wish my wallet was logarithmic. The bankers are now doing logarithmic balances on your account. Well, we adjusted it for like... If you look at it at an angle, you got more money. I do think this is stepping through the window, though. I think I'm right about this trade. Dollar yen. Just keep marching north. Break this trend line. Dollar's going to be so strong. It's ridiculous. So if interest rates start to creep up, yeah, people can charge more. The economy's better. You can lean on it. Oh, look at dollar Swiss. Now here's a story. And I can't wait to hear somebody say, well, it's going up because the Swiss bank accounts, you can't have them those more. Ain't got them those more. Because some people were hiding money there. Yeah, they got Bitcoin now, so you can hide your money in Bitcoin. what's going to happen here? Wow. Yeah. Was that the trap? Wow. I did think here we could collapse, actually. So, very topsy-turvy. We could use some data compression on that. So that's quite a picture. Very low volatility. I mean, look at this shit up here. What the hell is going on here? Wow. That's psychotic. So is this. Look at that retracement. Then we have the infamous smash. That's the first depegging. This is the one everybody talks about, but yeah, this was quicker. But this was insane. Yeah, that was insane. Look at that. Of course, that is about the same magnitude of this stuff. They're all bad. Look at this rally. Somebody got hurt on this one. Yeah, we bought into that new low shit down there. We just held it till it got here. We're so rich. Jimmy Bob's got a new tractor. Do you, Jimmy Bob? Yeah, but I lost my hand. I drank too much moonshine and lost me fingers. I've done that. I'm still doing that. It's a hobby now. Smash my thumb. Thumbs are overrated. Opposing thumb, that's what I'm afraid that guy Rim didn't have. No opposing thumbs? I'm so sorry. Step to the side. There's the other train car you get on. So I was listening to a story about Hitler's drug addiction. Yeah, that was a fantastical sell-off here. Golly. Them's big sell-off. Things are tame now. You just wait, son. Dollar CAD. What the hell's going on here? Whew. It's crazy. I think it's adorable that people are putting trend lines on this currency pair. Well, yeah, can't you see it's in an uptrend? Yeah, I guess so. But holy God. Look at somebody got trapped on this fractal, this Williams breakout up here. Ouch. Yeah, we put our buy stops there. I was making new. See, here's your historical entry. Double top there. And a failure swing to boot. You could have sold the tippy top of that and made a mint. We don't just put orders out there, son. What the fuck you think this is? We're using Fibonacci. Come here, you cowboy. I'll learn you to place orders up there. Look at you got filled too. Look at that thing. On a daily. We sold up here. Shit, Jimmy Bob was short up into this. I don't know what that looks like on the 5 minute. Wow, look at that. Your entry, you didn't even get another chance to get on that train. So you got to realize, if you think you could have traded that, ask yourself, would you have traded that on the 15? Fuck no, you would have shit your pants selling up into that. But if you look at it from this standpoint, you're like, shit, Jimmy Bob had pendings up here. I told him to sell new highs and he did it. Look at this range. Are you kidding me? 35 pips. Jimmy Bob put a 50 pip stop on it. Sold that everything. He sold a cluster of 50K. So he risked $5 per ticket. Cashed out. So if you took your first scalp, break even scalps. Double your money exits. Triple your money exits. I don't know if you could quadruple your money on this. Maybe you bought this. Internal top. Looks like they didn't fill you though. Came close. And they might come down here tonight. Just depends how long you want to be in the trade. So just to get a perspective of price over time, if you're looking at the 4-hour world, compare that to the daily. Zoom in and go through the time frames. I think this is another thing that fucks people's heads up. I see a pattern in here, but I don't see one here. So all you see is double top. Killer scalp that turns into an amazing reversal. That's a golden trade. Classic. Confirmation upon entry. Confirmation because you said I'll sell new highs, and you did. Perfect trade. Here's the trailing defense entry. Sell stop. Sell stop. Sell stop fill. Sell stop, you're short. Maybe your stop's up here, you're adding to your position on the double mountain vacuum. So this is a double top and bottom and bottoms. It's a double vacuum. Here's this one vacuum here that fills satisfaction. But this is Twin Peaks stacking up beneath. And now it's down. Pretty wicked market. Here's a breakout trap. Another trap, Williams. Screw job trade. You gonna buy this fractal breakout, are you? This is carried forward. Another sell window. Another sell window. So you're selling new highs and you're buying new lows. No trades here, unless you consider this one. Here's a new low buy, double bottom buy, new low buy. It's better if it's a under 5 bar pullback, under 5 bar pull up. It's a great failure. Here's no fill, but here's the fill. So that's a great ticket. What else? I think the dollar is going to crush this Australian dollar. I think gold's going to hell. Say I'm wrong. I don't care. Bitcoin is surviving, but I think eventually the impending doom. Then the dollar's going to kill the yen. The euro's going to kill the yen. The dollar's going to kill, and this is another dead cat bounce, I think. Although this was the amazing swing trade. And this was my pending limits that I placed before the fact, in case Dimrim's watching. That's truly before the fact trading. No fills here on the sell side. British pound. Monthly. Yeah. The bulls want to see it take this Twin Peaks out. Then they would start selling here. They would start selling this whole area, I would. Run limits, obviously, here. I'd be buying for bounces and scalps in here. even if it is going to rim dim land down here, down in the bilge, where Ron L. Hubbard makes you sit, where they bring in the chain from the anchor. I'd trade a bounce off of that price to here. Bounce to here off these tickets. So that's, I call that the Sea Org trade. There's your boat parked off of in Florida. It's the back of the boat. Here's where they bring the chain in. Here's where I make you sit. And you listen to this thing clanging as you grab your ears. It's all wet down there. So far we haven't recovered from this. But this is the challenge. Can we make it above this watermark? Weasel our way out? I don't know. Who cares? Euro yen. Euro looks like it's going to kill the yen. Not in a lagged manner. There's the guppy. Oof, and dicey here. CAD yen. Serious, when you look at the markets like this, here's the daily. It's a mind bender. I can't see my trade in there. I can't even see how to get in the market. Only from a limit vacuum standpoint can I see the trades here. So pretty hard to see to back test it. Here I still couldn't. Barely. Almost doable. This is doable, and this is maybe too zoomed in for people, but if you're a true aficionado of candlestick, you know that the doji is in decision. It's time to put a trade on. Time to put a trade on here. Put a trade on. Put a trade on there. You can't say, well, look, it went down here, so, because you'd have to scalp out of something along the way that's a daily chart. You should be getting out of something. You got 2 fucking days to get out of that thing. And maybe you've crushed out. Maybe you've got buy stops on top of this. Buy stops on the top of that are still making money. You put stop there, it's a complete goober winner there. Red textbook. Confirmation entry. Place your stop after the pullback, or put your stop here. You risk this much, you make even more if you actually got out up here. If you got back in the same goober way, your risk to reward ratio sucks because you risked this much and you only made this much because you stopped in reverse. That's why stop and reverse robots won't work unless they oversize during small volatility. They get in fat as a whore here, if your whores are fat where you live. And this is the small range bot without consideration to the body. So maybe you have a doji bot, a range bot, you have a limit bot, and you have at the market bots. So maybe there's 4 approaches you have. Now you're way ahead of the game because these monolithic people. Oh, I went to this restaurant called Five Guys. Okay, I got it. There's actually, they're lying. There was a guy and 3 girls. But the idea that you're going to do well done and not ask me how I want the burger done is kind of weird. They're stating they're well done. I guess it's so you don't go out there with salmonella because it's kind of iffy. Right. What else? Oh, I'm in drawing mode here. So yeah, that's about the long and short of it, as I say. You know, trade at your own risk, as they say. I love how those people have a disclaimer. Look at this doji bot got filled on the monthly. He's making money. My mechanical no-brainer bot stopped out of his long legs here and up, running a trailing stop and reversal. Monthly chart, mind you. Let's hope we got in on the weekly. But I'm just saying, for the guy that doesn't trade until the monthly gives him a signal, he did okay. Right? He took this trade, he took this trade, he took this trade, this one. He took this one, he took this one, he took this one. This one he bought a new house, bought a new wife. That one. Started hanging out at the nicer place in town. And he just was about, he just didn't add, no more signals till here. Maybe took this, took this, took that trade. So he didn't trade this big down bar. He didn't buy into that. He's not that guy. I do think there's a trade for every candle. Every candle has a trade. Now you may not agree that buying this big sell-off is buying, but you know, and this is a hell of a chart. This is a monthly chart. Somebody bought that. And if the big boys did buy it, they cashed out probably into where they bought on close here. That's why you're seeing that. And they waited a long time to get out here, and then they doubled up and went short here. And here's the classic. On every chart you see this. Selling new highs here, paid off. Every chart, 5-minute chart has that. It's so stupid. It's like the dumbest trade in the world. You got filled. Selling new highs. And you cash out into this haul, I would. What else? I'm sure there'd be a lot of buyers down here. Pressure's building up here, or it's just money management trailing here. So that's about it. This is harebrained. Can't believe people even trade this. Good luck with that stuff. Good luck trading these bombastic and then dead in the water markets.